Good evening. My name is Joan LaBarbera. You may remember me from such works as Dust and Jacob's Room and Events in the Elsewhere. What you just experienced was a live broadcast of the death of Thomas Paine. Paine, the English-born American radical, spurred on revolution in America, in England, and in France. He was at one time a hero in all and a citizen in none, even having been condemned, banned, and sentenced to death in those countries, or rather by those in charge of those countries. What you are about to hear is a production, and I use that word loosely, wherein my colleagues and I
Hey, how's it going?
will be playing a team of voices broadcasting the spirit of Thomas Paine across time and space, floating endlessly across the airwaves, whatever that means. The man chorus you just heard may interrupt us or comment on the production from time to time. This is to be expected. In spite of the social politics of the subject matter and the blatant gender dynamics of this cast, this work will not be controversial, nor will it be a history lesson or biography. If you're listening to this broadcast, you're probably a pretty intelligent person. And no doubt, to you, my facts will appear iffy. Instead, think of the following production as a guide for ethics, a prompt for discussion, and an attempt at an uncensored, balanced, bipartisan, bilingual account of actions taking place most likely in and around your skulls by a motley cadre of decidedly agitated characters. A warning to listeners: there may be some strong language, like cocksucker. Back after these messages.
Back in 10.
God damn it, Barger. 10's irrelevant. I said 30. I don't need 10. 10's too much.
Unintelligible response.
These breaks are killing us, Nick.
Unintelligible response.
What do you mean? I said they're killing us. End sentence.
Industry standard.
I don't care if it's the gold standard or the God standard or the Henry fucking Fonda standard. Just give me a 30. I don't need more than 30. I don't want more than 30.
30, you got it.
But it's got to be a real 30 or you're going on my list. None of this blah, 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 trigger warning, comma, unintelligible response, comma, look at me, I'm in a chorus.
All laugh.
It is funny. It's very funny.
Did someone just say blah blah something something blah 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 au natural?
I don't know what that means, Andy.
I'm just trying to clarify the meaning of au natural. Au natural means blank?
Chorus.
I'm going on and you're hung up on the French?
Oh, shit. She wants to be sure she gets to the National Fund.
Do we have any other PSAs? I want to be sure I get to the National Fund.
Shove it deep in Tommy's ass.
Jesus, why is he here?
Well,
He's our expert
something about
on the
morale.
prevention of
If it's about morale,
poverty, the
maybe
abuses of
it's more
censorship,
relief.
and the foundation of new republics.
Because this whole spot's been leading up to the National Fund.
On in 5.
God damn it, Barger.
God damn it, Barger.
You think I'm fucking around?
God damn it, Barger.
You think I'm talking just because I got gas?
Tommy's gas.
Roger,
Tommy's
Steve, Michael,
together,
Shove
Joan.
it deep in
Tommy's
Tommy's
ass.
ass. Herbie Keitel, whoever they are.
I still got nothing here on Jose Artigas.
Whoever that is.
Guess I'm adding Uruguay to the list.
Adding Uruguay to the list.
Fucking Uruguay. Add them to the list, Nick.
Already on the list, Joan.
All laugh. Already on the list, Joan.
Is France on the list?
Depends.
How so?
Depends on what year it is.
Oh,
6 minutes.
What year is it?
1975.
no, that doesn't seem right.
1976, 2008, 2000, 1819, 2045, whatever.
Assuming it's after 1806, how about this with regards to the National Fund? It is the practice of civilization to make provisions for the poor. Would it not be better to prevent their becoming poor? This can be done by making every age 21 an inheritor of something. Society proves that violence has been committed upon it and calls on justice. The poor in all countries are hereditary and increase annually.
Yes, that's nice, Nick. I got that. But still nothing on Artigas.
Jose Gervasio Artigas, national hero of what became Uruguay,
Fucking Uruguay.
led the 19th century Oriental Revolution and based his major treatise on a Spanish translation of Thomas Paine's work. These instructions of 1813 included independence from the Spanish
Fucking Spain.
and the Portuguese,
Fucking Portugal.
as well as redistribution of land to poor blacks, Creoles, natives, and widows, and the prohibition of the slaughter of females.
That was a thing
That was a thing. Por ejemplo,
for the Spanish.
la redistribución de la tierra a los negros pobres, criollos, indígenas y las viudas, y la prohibición de la masacre de las hembras.
No me digas.
I diga,
For the Portuguese.
a redistribución de tierras a los negros pobres, criollos, nativos y viudas, e a prohibición do abate de garotas.
Now me creo.
But how do we know they're not censoring the Spanish translation?
We don't.
Unless we speak Spanish.
Most of us don't, Nick.
And how do we know they're not censoring the Portuguese translation?
We don't.
Unless we speak Portuguese.
Same deal, Nick.
Can we trust the translators?
We have to.
Tommy's in the playground. Tommy's got to watch out. Shock Jock Robbie's got all the milk money now. Shock Jock Robbie's got a hard-on for Tommy.
It is the practice, blah, 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 civilization, blah, blah, hereditary race, comma, blah, 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 comma. More persons fall annually into it than get out of
More
it.
persons are looking for that special someone?
Persons in the
Sons of
infirmary.
fucking bitches.
Well, I'm going in fucking blind. I hope you're fucking happy about all that.
We're trying our best.
God, fuck it all.
You bastard.
You still got the natural state. Why don't you take it from the natural state?
Oh, natural.
I don't mean naked.
Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, okay, primitive. I know that's a...
Loaded word.
Trigger word.
All laugh
Is that what they're calling it these days?
these days.
That's what they're, calling it these days.
These days.
Once more from the natural state.
The primitive state.
The natural state.
Like a lot of shit these days.
Like the primitive state.
You said it, not me.
Trigger warning.
Like the Indians live in.
Big trigger.
Like the poor of Europe are?
Acceptable use of war.
Like the poor of the South.
As opposed to.
Everybody calm the fuck down.
That's a form of censorship.
Tommy's got his dildos all in a twist, as per usual, as per fucking ever.
All together now. That's a form of fucking censorship. What you fucking think, Tommy? They were going to lie on their fucking bellies and play with themselves just because some dick shitter in France couldn't keep his fucking throne? There's more to shit. There's more to revolutions than addressing causes of poverty and proposing taxes. Your child doesn't want you, Tommy. She wants your neck. Your child doesn't want you. She wants your neck.
I'm thinking of a word, y'all.
We're thinking of more than one word, Andy.
Laughs. No, but seriously. You know, like censorship, the act of changing or suppressing speech or writing that is considered subversive of the common good when applied to blank is called blank. Censorship when applied to the act of changing or suppressing speech or writing that is considered subversive of the common good is called blank. Censorship, the act of changing or suppressing when applied to speech or writing that is considered subversive of the common good is called blank. Censorship, the act of suppression when applied to speech or writing that is considered subversive of the common good is called blank. Censorship, the act of changing or suppressing speech when applied to writing that is considered subversive of the common good is called blank. Censorship, the act of changing or suppressing speech when writing what is considered subversive when applied to the common good is called blank. Censorship, the act of changing or suppressing speech when applied to blank is called...
What are you talking about? Censorship? I'm live in 20 seconds and you start filling my ear with more talking points than I can hold on to?
30 seconds.
God damn it, Barger.
God damn it, Barger.
I can't have you in my fucking ear, Barger. And Nick, with your shit about Portugal and the Indians.
I'm talking about American Indians.
I don't care which Indians you're talking about.
The poor of the natural state.
Well, that's a big trigger right there.
The poor of the natural state.
No, they didn't live in poverty.
Of course they did.
We can argue definitions of poverty, but compared to the poor of the so-called civilized...
Big trigger.
Live in 10.
Shit, what if I accidentally swear?
We can edit that.
It's just you fuckers get me so riled up.
We can edit that.
Well, I guess you can always edit that.
Chorus edits that.
Thank you, Chorus.
You're welcome, Thomas.
Yes, Thomas. Of course, Thomas.
Get it all out now,
Shit,
Thomas.
fuck, cock wriggling.
Do that shit live, Thomas.
Thomas Paine, coming at you live.
Do it, Thomas.
Thomas fucking Paine on the National Fund and the poor of the natural
Thomas Paine appears to have been muted.
Into.
Compared to what we have now in so-called civilized cities, it is the practice of what has unjustly obtained the name of civilization, and the practice merits not to be called either charity or policy, to make some provision for the persons becoming poor and wretched only at the time they become so. Would it not, even as a matter of economy, be far better to adopt means to prevent their becoming poor? This can best be done by making every person, when arrived at the age of 21 years, an inheritor of something to begin with. The rugged face of society, checkered with the extremes of affluence and want, proves that some extraordinary violence has been committed upon it, and called on justice for redress. The great mass of the poor in all countries are become an hereditary race, and it is next to impossible for them to get cut of that state of themselves. It ought also to be observed that this mass increases in all countries that are called civilized. More persons fall annually into it than get out of it.
Use more words?
Fuck it, I'll start again. It is the practice of what has unjustly obtained the name of civilization, and the practice merits not only to be called charity and policy, but provision and posterity, to become poor and wretched only as time permits their becoming so. Would it not, even as a matter of economy, be far better to adopt means to prevent their becoming poor? This can best be done by making every person, when arrived at the age of 21 years, an inheritor of something to begin with. The rugged face of society, checkered with the extremes of affluence and want, proves that some extraordinary violence has been committed upon it, and called on justice for redress. The great mass of the poor in all countries are become an hereditary race, and it is next to impossible to blame them and their vices and purchasing decisions wholly and without quarter. It ought also to be observed that this mass increases in all countries that are called civilized. More persons fall annually into it than get out of it.
Is that true? I'm not sure that's true.
Does it matter? The point is, it could be true. And time and effort would better be spent on getting these people cut of that state instead of arguing about definitions. It is the practice of what has unjustly obtained the name of civilization, and the practice merits not only to be called charity or policy, but provision and posterity, to become poor and wretched only as time permits their becoming so. Would it not, even as a matter of economy, be far better to adopt means to prevent their becoming poor? This can best be done by making every person, when arrived at the age of 1 year old, an inheritor of something to begin with. The reddened face of the masses, checkered with those in positions to create a new progressive utopia, and with those who merely stand on the sidelines, whatever that means, and accept the dole of extraordinary violence and pity committed upon them. Cry for justice, cry for redress. The great mass of the poor in all countries are become an hereditary race, and it is impossible to blame them and their vices and purchasing decisions wholly and without quarter. It ought also to be observed that this mass increases in all countries that are called civilized. More persons fall annually into it than get out of it.
Do you have a point to make?
Yes.
So make it.
Fine. Fuck it. I'll start again. It is a stain on the great name of civilization. And that word merits not only charity and posterity, but true policy and true provision, that the poor become more so as time passes. Would it not, even as a matter of dignity, be better to adopt means to prevent their becoming poor? This can be done by making every person an inheritor of something to begin with. The red face of the masses cry for justice, cry for redress. The great mass of the poor in all countries has become an hereditary race, and it is impossible to ignore them. This mass increases in all countries that are called civilized. More persons fall annually into it than get out of it.
Get to the fucking point, Joan.
Fuck it, I'll start again. It is a stain on civilization, whatever that means, that the poor become more so as time passes. Would it not, even as a matter of dignity, be better to adopt means to prevent their becoming poor? Make every person an inheritor of something to begin with. The red face of the masses cry for justice, cry for redress. The great mass of the poor in all countries are become hereditary, especially in all countries that call themselves civilized, whatever that means. It is a state of civilization, whatever that means, that it has not gotten me.
Poor persons fail and usually get on all right. Poor persons fail and are usually gone all right. Poor persons fail and are usually gone all right. Poor persons fail and are usually gone all right. Poor persons fail and are usually gone all right. Poor persons fail and are usually on all right. Poor persons fail and are usually on all right. Poor persons fail and are usually on all right. Poor persons fail and are usually on all right. Poor persons fail and are usually in all right. Poor persons fail and are usually in all right. Poor persons fail and are usually in all right. Poor persons fail and are usually in all right. Poor persons fail and are usually 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 all right. Poor persons fail and usually all right. Poor persons fail and use all y'all rights. 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 Poor persons fail and use all your 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 rights. Poor persons fail and use 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 your rights. Poor persons ail 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 and use your rights. Poor persons aliens 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 ease 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 your rights. Poor persons aliens eat 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 your rights. Poor persons aliens ate 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 your rights. Poor persons alienate 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 your rights. Poor persons all hate 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 your rights. Poor persons will 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 hate your rights. Poor persons 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 hate your rights. Poor sons 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 hate your rights. Persons hate your rights. Persons hate your rights. Persons hate your rights. Persons hate your rights. Sons hate your rights. Sons hate your rights. Sons hate your rights. Sons hate your rights. 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 Hate your rights.